Have you been pleased with what you've gotten from him when he was healthy this year so far?
Yeah, I mean, Josh does a good job. Comes a ton of energy, comes every day, works hard. Yes, I've been pleased.
Thanks.
Oh, okay.
Thanks, you're up. Let's go over to Demetrius and then Gary Smits.
Hey, Coach, I was just wondering, do you feel as though you guys are putting your players in the best positions to succeed? And sort of by that, I mean, as an example, right after the draft, you and Dave Caldwell said that Caleb Bond would be used as more of a 2-point stance linebacker, sort of what he did at LSU and what he succeeded at, but he's played defensive end for you guys now. Do you feel as though you're using your guys in the best position to use their skill sets properly?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's what obviously our goal is. That's what we're trying to get accomplished. It's hard to sit here and defend a lot of that stuff when you're not winning football games. So, I think we're looking to put the guys in the best position we can that, not only helps them individually with, in their performance, but in the whole grand scheme, of what we're trying to get accomplished. And I think that, Caleb On's, I have a ton of respect for him. I think, he's getting great experience right now as a rusher. I think it's something that is not sometimes you take for granted, with a lot of these players when they come into the league. I think that he's learning a ton, each game and how to, set up people, learning plans. So I think he's going to continue to get better. And I think when it hits, it's going to hit pretty good, for him, meaning that when that switch kind of, goes off. But this is some of the things that go on when, you have young players in that position. So, we felt we'd get the most out of him, being just in the defensive end, working on that. And then gradually, if that role expands, then to expand it. But we wanted to get that done first because that was a high priority for us to try to get a rush.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Demetrius. Let's go Gary and then Mia.
Doug, does not having those practice squad players until Thursday at the earliest, how does that affect how you can practice?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of things. I think, one, everything's virtual. And then obviously the practice squad players won't be here on Wednesday. And, my thought process is, we'll kind of split practice up a little bit, meaning where, we're going to be able to get work done like a normal Wednesday. And there'll be a time when it comes down to the team periods to kind of back off, because if not, then we'd have our team servicing each other. And I just want to make sure that we're fresh and we're ready to go. And then Thursday, it'll be a normal practice, Friday, a normal practice. So I think the day that we'll have a practice adjustment is obviously the day where we're missing those players.
Okay, and then do you have anything further on Josh Lambo?
Yeah, he's gonna kick during the week, so we're gonna see where he is then. I'll have a better idea once he goes out there. We're talking about either Wednesday or Thursday of putting him out there and seeing how he feels.
Okay, thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Smitter. Let's go over to Mia and then Gene.
Hey, Doug, I'm just curious. In watching the tape back from yesterday, reflecting on these last 3 to 4 weeks, does it feel like when you're on the sideline, when you're watching tape, is there a difference in terms of feeling like this offense is regressing? Do you feel like it is regressing, or is it just a matter of things that you have to do differently?
I think it's obviously a matter of things that we have to do differently. I think that when it comes to matchups, I don't think we played well on both sides of the ball up front. I think whenever you do that, there's going to be a lot of situations that happen. And really that I look at it, it's difficult to go back and reflect, I'm saying, like 3, 4 weeks ago. You're kind of just dealing in what you're seeing right now. And so my focus is on, okay, we played a team, they played us a little bit differently. Here was the outcome. We didn't perform up to standards, all of us. How can we do a better job, putting the players, kind of like how Demetrius was talking about, how we put them in better position, what I'm saying, so that, they can make plays. So that's our job. And then, when the time comes up in the course of a game, make plays. I think, when I looked at it, these key points in the game where we need to make plays, we haven't. And, I understand a lot when it's, the I guess the analytics and stuff are against you, meaning like down and distance and everything. But there's times where, down and distance is on our side and we're not able to come up with a play, and, offensively it's the same way too, where, we're getting what we want, we're getting the look we want, we just can't make that play. So that goes back to the same thing, just trying to make those plays at the right time and, making sure that we're putting them in a position to do that. And that's what we're all working for.
Just quick follow-up. Do you think that may require a personnel change, or is this a matter of changing play calling at all?
Well, I think Mia, when when you're going through something that we're going through and it's difficult with a young football team, I think it's very natural to have people that are gonna, I don't, not place blame. Not that anyone's looking to say, hey, it's this person's fault, but everyone's really trying to figure out, hey, how can this team get better? And you appreciate that. And then I think that's what happens, when I get a lot of these questions like, hey, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? My past has shown that I've done that, everywhere I've been as a head coach. And then when that stuff is warranted, I feel very comfortable making that decision, wherever it may be, but this one is not, this is really all of us, that, we all have to do a better job and we all have to dig ourselves out of this because it's never as easy as what some people think. It would be easy if it was, one thing, but it's not. We've got to do better at all of it. So, that's how I feel.
Thank you, Mia. Let's go over to Gene and then John Shipley.
Hey, Doug. The numbers in the first quarter and second quarter this year are pretty alarming. The dominance by the opponents in those quarters. What do you kind of attribute that? Do you think that the youth of this team somehow makes it harder to get settled down in games? I mean, obviously you guys got a little bit of edge in the second half, but to what do you attribute these alarmingly slow starts? And it's not just on the defensive side of the ball.
No, I agree with you. I'm not, it's something that is, that you try to, as a coach, to try to get, plays in, things are comfortable. You go out there and then, I don't want to say it's youth. I'm going to go back to the same thing. And not that I'm relying on it, it's just that we all have to find a better way. I really think that, sometimes, when it's early in the game and you've seen it against us, we go out there and, we run the ball, we get, -1, we get 0, then, we go ahead and dump it off and then we're punting, good plays by them, not executed as well by us. Then you look at the first drive and it's, a third down, we jump off sides, a third and long, we, give up a scramble, and all of a sudden he's had 2 opportunities to get them off the field and go. And I think there's a lot that people look at as far as, hey, how do you get them ready to go? I mean, we're doing everything we can, tried a couple of different things, taking the ball, not taking the ball, putting people, different groups out on the field, but at the end of the day, I still come back to the same thing. I think, someone's going to have to, we're going to have to do a good job of putting people in position, and someone's going to have to step up and make a stop, or someone's going to have to step up and make a play, for us to be, successful as far as how we start games. But you're right. It is obviously it's something that we're not doing well, and it's a major concern.
Quick follow up. Will you leave on for the trip this week? Will you leave on Saturday like normal?
Yes, we will leave on Saturday.
Okay, thanks.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Gene. Let's go over to John Shipley and then Mark Long.
Hey, Coach. Obviously, the run game with its struggles yesterday. What do you point most to the reason that kind of things didn't go well, and how big of a factor do you think AJ's injury was to that?
Well, I mean, obviously it's a factor. I'm not gonna deny that, but I'm not gonna put I thought Ben stepped in there, and there's some things that he did well and some things that he didn't, and I think that's normal. What I'm saying, for a young guy to step in there. But at the end of the day, I think I started this when I said before, I don't think we did a good job up front on either side of the ball. I thought that, they got the best of us, and I give them credit. We did not play as well on either side. And, There was some good individual play at times, but it wasn't consistent enough. But we didn't play well enough because you think about when you run the football, everyone's talking about how great of a job the offensive line did, and when you don't run the football, then obviously the people that are involved in that are didn't play as well, and I think that's what happened yesterday. Those guys didn't play as well, and Detroit got the better of us.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Shipley.
Coach.
Let's go over. Yeah, appreciate it. Let's go over to Mark Long, and then we'll finish with Jordan.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about Barch, but I will instead ask when teams are hell bent on taking away the run, isn't that an indictment on Minshew that they're basically daring him to beat them from the pocket?
Well, I think there's a couple of things that go into it, Mark. I think that, I think everyone goes into the game, and again, I think this is something that I want to make sure that I answer the right way, meaning that everyone goes into a game saying, okay, we're going to take away the run, right? I mean, I've been in this for like 20 years, wherever long I've been coaching. Even though I've been a head coach for 10 and an offensive coach the rest of the time. I mean, that's what I've always heard from defensive coaches. So everyone tries to do that and then really try to, force you to make plays, and force you to, protect, force you to, and until you start making those plays, that's how any team, I really believe, is going to be able to play you. So, and that's one of the things that we have to do a better job of. And not to say that if people stack the box, that you're not able to run the ball, because there were times where we just, we had gotten beat physically. So schematically, it's a little bit different, when you look at it, and it's probably not as schematic now because the quarterback always has the ability to run the football than it was, maybe 10 years ago or 7 years ago, whatever it is. So I think each week everyone's going to have a game plan, on what they want to do and what they want to take away, and try to force their hand or dictate what they do. And that's what you don't want to do in this game. In other words, you can see when teams play, at least I can, and I'm sure you guys can, when teams going out there and they're doing what they want to do, they're kind of dictating the tempo and dictating the flow of the game. And you see other teams that when all of a sudden something's not working or they become one dimensional will struggle at times until they can start making those plays, to get the momentum shifted. So, for us, we just didn't do enough, what I'm saying, and running the football to probably help us open up some of the, the things on the back end. And then on the back end, when we did it, we weren't as accurate probably as we could be at some points.
Thank you, Mark. Let's wrap up with Jordan.
Hey, Coach. Yesterday, DJ mentioned, DJ Chark, that he thought the receivers were open quite a bit. I was wondering if that's what you guys saw, and if so, if Minshew was just not seeing some guys downfield that were open.
Well, a lot of it, again, it goes back to the same thing. I think that, when you're losing, and this is not on DJ, it's more of, people are saying things that, hey, listen, we're open, or we can run it, or we can do this, or we can do that. And I understand that. I mean, I definitely do. And it's like everything. There's a balance in that. So yeah, there were times that they were open, what I'm saying? And maybe we couldn't get to the read because we were forced out of the pocket. There were times where, we may have been covered. There are times where we didn't throw the ball accurately, what I'm saying, to get it. So I think there's always a lot that goes into that, and I try to take it with a balance. I don't really look into, um, hey, listen, we're open all the time and we just can't get you to football. I don't think it's that. I think there's a lot of things that go into it. With the reads and where he is in the pocket and getting forced out of the pocket, which he did a couple of times yesterday. So it's difficult.
Thanks, Doug.
Sure, no problem.